the Japanese government has decided, interestingly enough, to dedicate 300 billion yen to Japanese universities. So I think for a lot of people that are on this briefing, like me, maybe you benefited from Monbusho or having a scholarship coming here. I received a Monbusho scholarship and went to law school in Sendai. But I think there are a lot of people that started their relationship with Japan um, in that way. And I think if you've experienced education in Japan, especially higher education, it's not all that it's cranked up to be. The facilities are not that great. The housing is expensive. And the social life of Japanese university students is not as um, kind of exciting as it is in Europe or United States or in Australia. But the Japanese government has decided they're going to be investing. This is, 300 billion works out to about $2.1 billion over a 5-year period for these universities. They have identified 11 universities that are going to be getting an enormous amount of money to turn their focus a little bit less away from the humanities and more towards the scientific and the technical aspects of education. So this is a kind of a nod to the Prime Minister's efforts and the government of Japan's efforts to make Japan a digital society and make the government, the running of the government, and enhance the capabilities and the technical experience of Japanese citizens so that they can handle more of a digital society. So that's a big deal. And this is how it basically shakes out. So 111 universities will be getting money, and they're encouraged to focus on green energy, greening the economy, and on digital transformation. Um, Japan typically graduates about, I don't know if you know this or not, but most of the graduates of Japanese universities are in the soft humanities, because typically what happens is when they leave the university, they get hired by a company, they join industry or become a bureaucrat. And from the perspective of the companies and the government, that's where they begin to learn. They don't expect them to be coming out of the womb knowing their skills. So uh, from a pejorative perspective, university life is just kind of a vacation for these kids who have suffered through the hell of getting out of high school and passing their college entrance exams, but it doesn't really prepare them much for the work ahead. So this is a direction to change that, give the universities more money to buy equipment, to create facilities, and to train people in technical and in scientific endeavors. And typically, in Japanese universities, it's pretty low actually. 35% of Japan's graduates are in science and technological exercises or endeavors. So the rest of them are basically in the humanities. And in the United States, that 35% compares to 38%. For South Korea and Germany, it's 42%. And for the United Kingdom, it's 48%. So I think the bureaucrats have taken a look at this and said those countries that are doing better than Japan in terms of high tech and in innovation are, their college graduates are devoting more of their energies to the science and the technical fields. So we need to do that too. So I think this is a way to boost that. And as a consequence, um, of these universities, 30% of them will actually shift their focus to science and technology as a consequence of this new money that's being invested by the Japanese government. In fact, Fukui Prefecture University will establish, this is interesting, their dinosaur paleontology department, which is the first department of dinosaur paleontology in Japan. You would think, as crazy as the Japanese are for dinosaurs and dinosaur bones, and there are quite a few that are found in Japan. There are a lot of experts on dinosaur paleontology, but this is the first department that will be created for paleontology. So that's a pretty big deal. And the Japanese government is also announcing that the scholarships are available too. So for medium and low income students, scholarships will be available. So it's a real push that's being pursued by the Japanese government, by the Prime Minister.